Congratulations on making it to the end of Overcome Porn, the 40-day challenge. I hope it's been a valuable step forward in your fight for purity online. Now that you're done, you might be wondering what's next. Here are a few practical next steps to take. First, be accountable for your internet use. Continue using Covenant Eyes Internet Accountability and continue having your reports sent to your partner. If you're not already using Covenant Eyes, now would be a great time to start and set up for yourself the next 40 days of freedom. The second piece of practical advice is to continue to learn about the issue. You can learn a lot more about porn and its impacts on our minds and relationships by downloading any of our ebooks at covenanteyes.com. And of course, you can always take the 40-day challenge again. Those are a few tactical next steps, but to wrap up the challenge, I want to paint a bigger picture for you. You might be familiar with the research that's been done about drug addiction using lab rats. Scientists isolate the rats in small cages where they push a lever to either get clean food or water or food with heroin or other drugs. And the results are predictable. The rats end up addicted or they wind up dead from overdose. Back in the 1970s, psychiatrists at Simon Fraser University took a different approach. They thought, hey, rats are social. They're out of their natural environment in a small metal cage. What if we changed the experiment? These scientists built what they called Rat Park. This was a large wooden box filled with cedar shavings, cans to crawl on, and even a scenic forest painted on the walls. Lab rats lived together, ate together, played together, and mated together. It was paradise. Then they gave the rats the choice between water with morphine and regular water. Interestingly, the rats in Rat Park had very little appetite for the drugs. They even tried to ramp up the experiment. They isolated the rats and forced them to consume morphine for weeks just to be sure the rats would experience withdrawal. Then they introduced the rats back into Rat Park, and they still did not prefer the drug-laced water. These experiments paint a picture of what addiction does to us, whether it's drugs or porn. Addictions are often fueled by the choices we make when we feel isolated, like rats in a cage. The reality is we have a natural desire for connection, but in our fallen world, our hearts amplify the sense of disappointment and emptiness. Then we turn to things like porn to numb the pain in order to feel intimacy. So what can we learn about temptations from a bunch of rats? Stuart McMillan puts it this way: what if the difference between being addicted and not being addicted was the difference between seeing the world as your park and seeing the world as your cage? This is what we've been learning to do over these last 40 days, modeling our lives after 2 Timothy. So flee youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart. Run from temptation, run to our Lord, and run with others. If I can give you a takeaway, it's this: set up your habits in life to regularly meet with others and talk about what's going on. Because here's the thing. We will forget what we've learned in the challenge. In our busy lives, we lose sight of the big picture. And in our worst moments, we won't care to run from. We need relationships that will help us dig into something deeper. Relationships that will help expose sin and point us towards Christ. Those deep friendships should continue even long after we've dealt with porn and other temptations. May you not just quit looking at porn. May you also know more deeply our loving Father. He's the only one who can make all things new.